Stop requesting verbal responses to questions that have already been answered by their actions. That's a quote from today's guest, Yah Hughes, the Purpose Cultivator. We're going to get right into it right after this quick intro.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but also heard all across the World Wide Web. Hey, dolls. Hey, gents. Thank you so much for checking us out for another phenomenal live show. Welcome to all those that are coming in from Facebook and all across Facebook and Periscope and YouTube and all of our streaming platforms, and those that may be listening at a podcast later on in iTunes, and Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We appreciate you. Listen, you know the goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence, and we're going to do just that today with our guest, Yah Hughes, the Purpose Cultivator. Listen, this segment is brought to you by my upcoming Product and Course Academy, where I show you how to monetize your expertise with digital products and courses. You can find out more at myacademy.biz. And so listen, we appreciate all those that are coming on in right now. Shout out Periscope. Hey, Kim, that's my sister listening in. Listen, shout out to my mom. Hey, Betty, coming on in. Hello for all those that are popping in and joining us. As you are coming on in, definitely let us know where you're hanging out from. Let us know where you are listening from. We want to shout you out as we jump into today's segment. We want to let you all know what is going on. It's going to be juicy. And so let me formally introduce our guest. Yah Hughes is with us, the Purpose Cultivator. She is a best-selling author, an award-winning speaker. She is a barrier-breaking coach and emotional wellness specialist. She's the founder of Made for Purpose, which is a women's self-development firm. She is the author of the Hello book series, over 1,200 copies sold. She also is the author of You Need It, I Got It, Conversations with Global Entrepreneurs on growing your audience, your visibility, and your influence. And guess what? She's here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. So listen, you know, the goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Shout out to Tony Winston coming on in. Hello to those that are listening and watching from Pennsylvania. I'm not even going to mess it up. We're going to go ahead and jump right on in. I'm bringing up to the mic right now, Yah Hughes. Welcome to the show.
Hey girl, hey, hello. I am super excited to be here. I thank you all for this opportunity, Sharvette, and hello everybody. Thanks for joining in on the conversation.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You know, we were both in a serving position. Do you remember how we met?
Yes, Epic Ambassadors, right?
Yeah, shout out to April Franks. And so you and I are both in a serving type of role at somebody else's conference. And we connected. And I just remember that your spirit was you were humble and just really cool. And then later, after I finished, after we finished Epic and I looked you up, I'm like, oh, her husband's a pastor. She's doing all these great big things. But you didn't have the big head. So it was really cool to be able to because sometimes people get a little something and they got the big head and
yes.
So let's let our listeners know who you are and kind of what is going on in your world. And so certainly the Purpose Cultivator. How did you become to be known as that?
So years ago, I've always been in a teaching and serving capacity. I'm in higher education by profession, and I've been helping women kind of operate in their purpose, not so much give them purpose, because I believe that that's what God does. But as the purpose cultivator, my job is to help you grow and foster what's already on the inside of you. So I found myself first fostering that growth on the inside of me. And people began to look at how I really truly honed in and operated in my purpose and who I am. And I began to help other people do the same. We have so many roadblocks and barriers and things that we think that stops us from really living out our true purpose, what we're here for. And I just wanted to provide a space, an authentic and transformative space for women and men now, that would allow for you to be your most authentic self and live the life that you were created to live. And a lot of times, the only thing that's stopping us from living out that purpose is ourselves. So I began to help women cultivate things that were on the inside, those inner roadblocks that stop you from really believing that you can, that you are, and that you're capable. So I started this journey maybe about 10 years ago and began to really hone into coaching and all of that maybe about 7 years ago. And I am so happy and excited that I am on this journey to help thousands of women just live out their destiny and walk boldly in their God-given purpose.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. And I think it's key that you said cultivate the purpose, because a lot of times, there's the book, The Purpose Driven Life. And, people are like, what is my purpose? And there's oftentimes a conversation around what is it? But you are really helping with, okay, let's cultivate what's already in you.
Yes.
What are some roadblocks that you find as you've traveled as a speaker and worked with women? What are roadblocks that you see?
So the number one roadblock is not believing that you have the capacity, right? You believe that you need to have more money, you need to have more time, you need to have more education. So a lot of times it's our desire that we think that there's this cookie cutter approach that we check off these boxes of things that we need to live out our purpose. But it's really a mindset shift, right? It's really about you knowing that you add value, because that's what purpose is. You add value. There is something that only you can do the way that you do it. And you just have to believe that your audience, your people, you're going to deliver it, and they're going to be there waiting for you based on who you are, not based on your favorite guru, not based on your favorite influencer, and not based on what you think should happen or it should look like. So most of the blocks, the roadblocks and the barriers really come from your thought and your mind, right? And you doubt yourself. And then the second one is just fear, right? We live nestled in this comfortable place because we believe that it's too scary out there. We don't want to do this. And fear stops us from really, truly living out, right? All of those what ifs. And we play this what if so much that we don't just go for it, right? Because we've already decided that it's not going to work, or we've counted the cost and not gone, right? And I always say, go afraid, right?
Yeah.
Go afraid. You go trembling. I don't care what that looks like, palms sweaty, but show up, right? Because that's the only way that you're going to know whether or not you got to tweak something, because it's not about whether or not you're not living out your purpose. It's about really finding your space, your comfort zone, and then living it out. But first, you got to think that you can. And second, you got to go afraid. Don't let the fear stop you.
Oh, that was good right there. That's some life coach, Oprah life class stuff right there. If you're just tuning in, you're checking out the Sharvette Mitchell radio show. We're chatting up here with Yah Hughes, the Purpose Cultivator. Welcome to all those that are coming on in from all across the web, wherever you're listening from. If you are new to me, just shout out your city and state and let us know where you are, where you're listening in from. We would love to shout you out. And so there was something that you had, a little quick video clip you had on your Instagram where you were speaking in front of a group, which you do a lot of speaking. And you were saying, listen, you're sitting, and I'm a paraphrase, you're sitting back, not pursuing your purpose, not walking in what you're supposed to be doing. And the result of that is there somebody who has an unanswered prayer? Because your solution, what you have, will solve their problem. So somebody else's prayer is not getting answered because you won't walk in your purpose. Talk about that a little bit.
The thought of that, doesn't that just sound so scary and terrible, that what you have, right, somebody is praying for? You are the answer to somebody's prayer. And the more that you doubt, the more that you go back and forth whether or not this is the space that you should be in, should you go for it? You know how back in the day, you know, I'm a Philly girl, so, you know, playing rope, sometimes, you know how like you go and you run back and you get all excited and you never get in the rope, and you're like, come on, get in the rope, right? When we look at it and we keep playing and getting there and moving back, somebody has been praying for your skill set. Somebody has been praying for your value. Somebody has been praying for your expertise, whatever that is. And every time you sit back and fight that thing, every time you believe that you can't, that you aren't, somebody's prayer is not being answered, because purpose is simply who you are in the earth realm, right? This is you answering a prayer in the earth realm, right? Yes. God created each of us for a specific reason. And the moment that you don't step up to the plate and live out that specific plan and purpose for your life, there's something here in this world that's not being answered. And when you look at it from that vantage point, you can take the fear, you can take the doubt, but to know that somebody's life, somebody's transformation, a smile, me going somewhere this day is determined by a prayer that needs to be answered, it makes me want to go ahead and not worry about all of the small things and really begin to do what I am purposed and destined to do and be.
Oh, that's so good. And who wants that weight on them, as far as that, what you just said, like that's a weight you are putting on yourself, knowing that somebody else is dependent on what's coming out of your mouth and what you are supposed to be producing. Listen, you getting a shout out from Philly, Richmond by way of Philadelphia. Lisa Williams, shout out Philly in the house. Hey, DC, Denisha coming in from DC. Awesome. All right. And so let's talk about where did the books come in? So Hello, the Hello book series, how did that become a part of really, you know, what you offer to the world?
So I was going around speaking, right? And as I would be telling my story and helping people live out their purpose, I found that there are a lot of women that go through different pivots in their lives, right? We all do. Whatever that pivot may be, who you were 5 years ago, you've shifted, you've changed, you've grown. But I think that there was a disconnect and a struggle between who I was and who I have transformed into. And we haven't embraced who we've transformed into, the good, the bad, and the indifferent. And I really wanted to provide a tool, an affordable resource for women to be able to look in their inner mirror and look at all that life has shifted in them, how things have changed, the different relationships, you know, the divorce, the kids, you know, the shifting of the jobs, whatever that may be, and take inventory of how that has changed you and begin to embrace those changes, because we try to sweep them over. You know, I gained some weight, I did this, I did that, all of those things. But what if I stand in the mirror and look at how it's made me better and how I've changed and how it shifted and catapulted me in a different way? So that requires that you say hello to this version of you, right? It's not a, you know, different version in a sense of you are still who you are, but it's the new and improved, or, you know, the 2.0 version of you, right? With all of the software, with all of the updates. How do you begin to say hello to who you see right here, right now, as you're on your way, right?
That's good.
So that's what the Hello series is about. And the first book in that series is Hello Me, because I believe that my work is going to always point you back to yourself, point you back to the inner parts of you, right? Those deep and depths of who you are. Yeah. And you can't get to walking out your purpose. You can't get to really, truly doing any of that if you are afraid to look at you. right?
Look
Like
at
you
you.
can't keep
Yes.
avoiding who you are. So hello me is that first part of, I got to take inventory of who I am and how life has changed me so that I can move forward and bring all those changes with me.
Oh, that is so, so good. How can listeners and viewers pick up a copy?
So you can pick up a copy at madeforpurpose.org, right at madeforpurpose.org, and I will personally sign it for you. We are also on Amazon. Just search Hello Me or Yah Hughes, and you can pick up a copy at either one of those sites. So madeforpurpose.org or Amazon.
And shout out over, well, at least March 2020, it's probably more now, over 1,200 copies. So as really an independent author,
Yes.
So not with a big publishing company. So that's not anything to shake a stick at all. The self inventory, yes, can be detrimental. Thank you, Shanae. Absolutely.
Yes, Shanae.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that's scary. And then sometimes we don't, I am single, currently not married, but I would imagine, and you as a married woman can speak to this. I would imagine if both people are growing and shifting, what happens down the road when you look at I'm different, or talk a little bit about that, the impacts on marriage.
So I think that that's a lot of the clashes in marriage, because you meet somebody at whatever stage in your life, but you grow, right? My husband and I will celebrate 13 years of marriage this coming Monday. So 13 years later, yes, that's huge, right?
Yes.
And we still like each other.
Look at that. I can tell because I follow you on Instagram and the Insta stories.
Yes. But so 13 years ago, I wasn't the person that I am today, right? Not saying that I am completely a different person, but I had to begin to reintroduce myself to my husband. This is what I like now. I don't like this. In the beginning, you want to fit these roles as a wife and a mother and all of that. And there were roles that I subscribed to that I didn't want to. And after I did the work, I had to be like, yeah, I didn't want to do that. Right. Yeah. And while that sounds easy, it wasn't. It took a lot of, this is who I am now. While you see the change and the metamorphosis, you are really stuck on the woman that you married, right? Yeah. The core values of who I am is still there, but I'm growing every single day. And let me tell you about her, right? Let me tell you a little bit about who she is. So I think that it's key that as you continue to grow, whoever you are in partnership with, in covenant with, whether that's a best friend, whether that's your husband, whether that's somebody you're courting, you got to begin to talk about the things that are changing with you. And we shy away from that. Like, well, what if the person doesn't like this? Or what if the person doesn't? You are not doing this for anybody else. But I promise you, just like you introduce that person, who you were then to them, and they loved and honored you, if you do it the right way, meaning you introduce it via conversation and discussion. I wasn't walking around here like, oh no, what I'm not about to do. Right. That wasn't how it was. It was like, I think that, I had this perception of marriage and this is what I thought. And I really didn't like doing that. Right. And then it was like, so what does that look like now? How can we begin to shift that relationship and shift those things so that we can begin to do that? That's going to require some honesty. That's going to require some communication. And it's going to require that you do it over and over again, because being with somebody for a long time, they're used to one thing, right? Yeah. We are creatures of habit. So you just kind of, remember. We're not doing that no more. So let me tell you, right? Remember I told you that. So let me show you that we're not doing that, right? So it's going to require some patience on both ends. And I think that, he's not here to say it, but I think that he loves the person that I have evolved into. We have better conversation, there's more communication and those things. So I think that you got to continue to introduce everybody to who you are now and what serves you right now.
Ooh, this is good. You getting some testifying. Lena said that's good. Maisha listen, I think that's the fist pump. I think we're going to just accept that. That's good too. And I want to actually talk a little bit more about relationships after this commercial break, because those that are just coming on in, you might be saying, what y'all talking about? What y'all doing? It's Sharvette Mitchell, the Sharvette Mitchell radio show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, with our guest, Yah Hughes, the Purpose Cultivator. And if you've been in here at least 5 minutes, your purpose, you should feel some cultivation going on with your purpose. And so, Yah, we're going to talk a little bit more about relationships. I'm going to let you rest in the virtual studio as we go to commercial break. Right. We'll bring you back up. And again, welcome to all those. And thank you for all those that are watching. Give us some hearts and some likes. And so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to jump back in with our guest, Yah Hughes, the Purpose Cultivator. Don't you move.
I want to teach you a lesson you'll never forget.
Have you been thinking about creating your own courses or virtual products, but you don't know where to start? Are you tired of leaving money on the table and underutilizing your knowledge and skills? Let me show you how to monetize your expertise with virtual products and courses. Jump over to myacademy.biz. In this live 8-week course, I will show you how to create and deliver video courses, audio courses, ebooks, and more. Visit myacademy.biz and register for the next product and course academy, where you walk away with the strategies and tools to create cash with your experience and knowledge. Visit myacademy.biz to get started today.
All right, there is your personal invitation. Welcome back again to all those that are tuning in and watching us. We are here chatting it up with Yah Hughes, the Purpose Cultivator, best-selling author, award-winning speaker, barrier-breaking coach, which you can hear from our conversation that's going on, an emotional wellness specialist. So that's who we've been chatting up with. Thank you so much for all those that are hanging out with us. Let me bring her back into the studio. All right, so yeah, let's jump back in. So I started off this segment with a quote that I saw on one of your pages that I thought was so, like, it's either going to make you say ouch or amen, listeners. It's going to make you say but the quote from you was, stop requesting verbal responses to questions that their actions have already answered. Oh, and I know that feels like relationship stuff to me right there. So we talking about relationship, let's keep it moving, but that goes across, I think, all relationships.
It's like, we want them to verbalize and say, well, this, that, and the third. Well, why do you do this? Or why is this? And their actions have already answered that question. I am a firm believer of looking at what people do, right? Your words, yes, they have power and they have value and all of that, but put your actions where your mouth, put your money where your mouth is. Listen, you're requesting a verbal response. You want them to apologize. You want them to just tell you. You're looking for them to say something that their actions have already said. So when their actions have already given you the answer, it's time for you to stop questioning. It's time for you to stop, because you've already received your answer. So you don't need to close anything. You don't need to have closure. You don't need to have this conversation.
Well, yeah, we want closure. We want
I understand.
You're going to tell me why you did X, Y, Z.
But it doesn't even matter why they did it, because 9 times out of 10, why they did what they did had absolutely nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. So you want them to come in front of you and display and share their insecurities, their struggles, and what their inner world is going on when they have already shown it to you. So I know we need answers. I know that we just need to hear it. But you hearing it when your heart and your mind and your spirit has already received it. You don't need to hear it because you felt it.
Oh, ouch.
Their actions have spoken so loud. They are on a bullhorn sharing who they are and what's going on right now. And you then have to make the decision. Are you going to wait around just to hear them say something that they've already shown?
Woo, there you go. I told you, those that are listening and watching live, Hello, ouch, or goodbye. We still hanging around, still believing, seeing is
Yes, seeing
believing,
is believing. Yes, it is, Denisha.
and actions speak louder than words all day long, all day long. Hey, Leslie, thank you so much for popping in and joining us. So that and that ties, because the reason why I bring that up and the reason why I wanted to intertwine relationships. Oftentimes, a lot of people that are listening are females. Shout out to all the men, the lucky men that'll listen to this. But I believe there is a connection with if there's a breakdown or a disconnect in the relationship space, it can impact how somebody implements their purpose and how somebody walks out their purpose.
Absolutely.
So, have you seen that?
Absolutely. A lot of times when there is that disconnect or you believe something in your relationship space, right? Then sometimes what you took, right? What they didn't say, what they did say, you're taking that at face value and you're internalizing that. And that's how you begin to show up, right? You begin to show up based on that last relationship, what they've done, what they said, and not so much because of who you are, but because of what they've done or they've said. So I think that that's why it's so important to do the work so that you're not looking for other people's right responses for you to be. And I say this all the time. Some of us are in relationships based on how we see ourselves.
Ooh, talk
Some
about
of us
that.
are in relationships because we believe that this is as good as it gets, or this is better than what I saw growing up. So it's better, right? But is it better, right? Or is it the best that you can get? Right.
Ooh.
So when we think about that, I know that some people, don't believe this, but I did date before my husband, right? And, I found myself in relationships early on based on what I thought about myself at the time. And when I think back, and it was like, oh God, you get relationships because you believe that this is what it is. They're showing me attention. They're showing me more attention than what I was getting. So if I wasn't getting any attention, the little bit that I was getting, we think that that's paramount. And it's great when that's the bare minimum. And nobody wants a bare minimum anything. And that's in relationships, that's in your jobs, that's anywhere. But when you begin to do the work and look at who you are and the value, you begin to look at the ways that you settle, and then you make decisions that'll be better than what you were, right? I'm in a situationship right now because I settled. Girl, I understand.
Hey, girl, hey, you understand.
But you don't have to stay there, right? You do the work. And when you begin to take inventory, is this the best, right? Can I see myself building and living out a life of purpose with this person? Do they even understand what that means?
Ooh.
So yeah.
That's a Selah moment. That's if you're watching this in the replay, listening in the replay, put a pause the tape, pause the podcast, pause the video, and think about what was just said. That is so good. And so Yah, welcome, and all those that are popping on in, thank you so much. Talk about what you have available. You've got some things, some digital and virtual options that you're going to be bringing out into the universe, into the world. Tell us what's coming up for you.
Yes. So I'll be opening back up my membership, and membership will be beginning this August, the end of August, the beginning of September, Cultivating Wholeness, where we would go through 4 parts of really taking that internal look at who you are and diving deep into you doing the work, right? So it is going to be a 6-month membership class where you're going to go through doing that work. And if you're not ready to commit to that full 6 months, I'll also have the Hello Me course that will be coming out, and that's going to accompany the book, and that's going to allow you to, after you've done the reading and you begin to answer those questions and you're doing the work and things begin to resonate and come up, how do you then begin to take that journey to really cultivate and have an authentic relationship with you so that you can show up in every facet of your life the best way? So once you get the book, after that, you want to go ahead ahead and join us for membership and or a course. So stay connected with me so that you can get all of that information.
Yes, yes. And that is so right on target about why I'm actually hosting a product and course academy, which shows people how to create courses in this coming, which is the sponsor of this segment, coming in July, myacademy.biz. You all can go check that out. But what does a course do? So once somebody reads the book, in your opinion, what is when you take the next step of having a course, how does that really help someone?
So I think that the course is more hands-on, right? It gives you those transformational tools and techniques. It gives you that homework. It gives you those assignments that you got to do that you can begin to do the work because, I've read this, now what, right? So it's like you read this book, you read all of this great information. Now, what do I do? I understood what you said, but now it's about teaching you how to apply it. Yes. So it's just like you reading a book and then you go into a classroom. It's like, I read chapter 4, but let's talk about this thing, right? And let's do some work and some application so that you can apply it to your everyday life. So that's why it's important to have courses and to enroll in courses because you want to get that next step. How many of us have read books and then you thought that they were good, you highlight it, and then there's nothing else?
Nothing
right?
else. Nowhere
There's
else
nothing else. You meant to do this and you wanted to do that. And that book did transform your life, but can we see the fruit of that transformation? So the courses is what gets you that transformation. And I think Denisha said it's about the accountability, right? You get an opportunity to get that one-on-one.
All right, there you have it. There you have it, live from our guest. And so, Yah, how can people connect with you on social media? Everywhere across social media.
Everywhere across social media, I am Yah Hughes. Yah Hughes across all social media platforms. I spend most of my time on Facebook and or in my Insta story. So if you want to come and laugh and have a good time with me, I am Yah Hughes on all platforms.
Whew, the last question I have for you, the goal of my show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate Yah.
So outside of seeing women all across the world, like step into their stuff, like be bold and courageous and do things with excellence, like our wonderful host and guest, Sharvette. Listen, when she said that we had to take a break for a commercial break, I was like, oh, well, go ahead, come here. Like, this is excellence. So outside of seeing that, my family motivates me. I have a 12-year-old and a 5-year-old, a 12-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. I want to make sure that I see them and they see me in a space where I am an emotionally healthy person, right? That we talk about feelings, emotions, and living out your purpose in our culture, right? And who we are. I want for this to be the norm. So this is what motivates me to continue to push forward and to continue to go. I'm resilient by nature, but it's just something about seeing my babies that really pushes me to the next level.
Oh, well said. Well, I am so excited that we had a chance to feature you here on the show, and we're going to let you go. We know your time is valuable, and we'll stay connected on social media.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Awesome. Another phenomenal show. Thank you, Tina Hunter, that is watching and viewing from YouTube. Yes. We're so glad that you stopped by. Excellence is important in everything that we do. And so thank you guys for hanging out with us, and share this broadcast out if you know that there are people, in particular ladies, that are on your timelines that need a push and need an injection into their purpose, or that the last second half of that was about relationships. Anyone that needs to hear that, share this broadcast out. We thank you so much, and we're going to let you guys go. Thank you, Debbie, for being here. She's shouting out, great show. Thanks, Mom. Great show. And then certainly our guest, Yah Hughes. Thanking y'all so much. This was awesome. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Peace and love. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Get Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.